We recently reviewed the economical and efficient Hyundai Elantra, but this is the fast one. This is the Elantra N.
Ew.
Ew.
What?
That guy just like spit on the ground.
Practically on our car.
Almost like he was spitting on our Elantra N. Gross. Instead of our normal review format, we're gonna answer one question with this video. If you want a car that hauls and your family, can the Elantra N do both?
But first, here's how much the Elantra N costs.
Let's set the stage by talking about what makes the Elantra N fun, starting with the exterior.
I really did not think you could zazz the Elantra any further, but they've done it.
It's like looking at the singer of like Whitesnake or something. You're like, let's do something with his hair.
I really like that spoiler. On any other brand of vehicle, it would look dumb because it's so well matched to the styling of the exterior.
So it's a wing because air goes on both sides of it, but I'm just being pedantic. In addition to that rear wing, we've got sporty front and rear fascias, orangey red lower trim all around, 19-inch wheels that have standard summer tires. Inside, the most conspicuous change for the Elantra N are the seats, Alcantara and leather appointed, and then also the steering wheel. Oh, there's like buttons and stuff and they're special colors. I feel like something sporty might happen. And yeah, something sporty might. The basic Hyundai Elantra is an economy car, but the Elantra N is very, very thoroughly updated to make it properly sporty. The suspension has been thoroughly retuned. It's also an active suspension. The steering is totally different. Speedier reactions, no slop, which is something that we actually did notice in the basic Elantra. That doesn't exist here. And then for power, we have a 2-liter turbocharged engine that's only offered in the Elantra N. It's 276 horsepower. Whee! And you can do things like that.
Wow, I can smell rubber.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's so strong I can barely breathe through my nose.
We'll put the windows down for a second.
That's the smell of good fun.
Anyway, lots of power, and we also have an electronic limited slip differential. Without that, it'd be easy just to have one tire making tire smoke annoying my daughter instead of 2 tires. The Elantra N only comes with front wheel drive, so making sure we're apportioning power correctly is really important. Countering all that speed, we have larger brakes, 14.2-inch discs up front, and then we also have the availability. It's a standard manual transmission, and then there's an 8-speed dual clutch transmission offered, but there's no other Elantra you're gonna buy that offers a manual. There's some basic drive modes. You've got normal, sport, eco, which I can't imagine why it's even in this vehicle. But if you want to get really granular, you have 2 different buttons here. You can set them up just to pull up a very, very sporty N mode, or you can also pull up custom modes. Steering effort, engine behavior, also how the vehicle sounds. You know what that makes me think? Let's go into custom 2. We can get some of that passionate steering, engine, and suspension behavior. Is passionate the right word I meant?
I don't know what you're doing over there, but you tend to do things with passion.
I really do.
Even typing. It sounds like he's trying to destroy his keyboard with his fingers.
I'm a passionate man.
Grabs mallet. Pow.
Smash,
Pow.
smash. In a vehicle of this size, 276 horsepower is plenty. And I like that turbocharged behavior too. You get that strong kick and then a little bit more as the turbo really comes into its happy place. We've got the manual, and I find driving this thing extremely easy. The shifts are super satisfying. It's not too heavy of a clutch pedal. The steering is a real highlight. You turn just a little bit and you get that immediate response. So it's a really good conversation between you and vehicle. You make a request and it's like, on it, boss.
You don't have a wife that does that, so perfect.
No. Got a speedy steering ratio. I don't have to go hand over hand. And then lots of pull coming out. It is fun to drive quickly, but it's also fun to drive at more moderate speeds. When you go to like a normal drive mode, it's firm, letting you know it's a sporty vehicle, but it's not uncomfortably so. Oh, I'm gonna do one thing here. I'm shifting down into first, and I'm gonna floor it. Notice how, even at full throttle in first gear, the steering wheel stayed dead straight. There was no torque steer, which is a common thing in front-wheel drive high-performance vehicles of yore, not so here. So they're doing a really good job of sending power to the front tires in a way that keeps it pointed where you intend to go. Just to put a button on it, I really enjoy driving the Elantra N on the streets, and I've also driven it on the track. When they first introduced it, I went to the launch event out here in California at Sonoma Raceway, and this thing is an absolute blast in a track environment, perfectly capable for repeated lapping. So yes, a ton of fun to drive. That does raise a question though, what makes this thing family friendly? I'm gonna call this section, how do you justify to the person in your life when you wanna buy the fun car? Cargo space, we have 14.2 cubic feet to work with, exact same as the standard Elantra. Interior space, I fit behind my preferred front seat position with plenty of extra room. Kiddo, are you comfortable back there?
Pretty much.
And how about sitting in that middle position? That work for you?
Yeah, it works pretty good for me.
Plenty of space for your feet. One thing I was surprised to find out, the ground clearance for the Elantra N is the exact same as the ground clearance for all the other Elantras, which means we're not going to collect a bunch of pine cones as we're driving around our mountain community. Then inside, we have all the same design elements that you find in the standard Elantra. There's a generously sized phone zone here.
There's also small storage here for a phone, as well as door storage, although that bottom area is not big enough for a bottle.
Agreed, though it is no worse than a standard Elantra. For infotainment and our gauge cluster, we've got dual 10.25-inch displays. This is essentially the same setup that you can find in lesser Elantras, but it's a little bit sportified, especially when you activate N mode and like the fiery flames come around the tachometer. We also have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wireless smartphone connectivity.
It has the exact same easy-to-use display that there is in the regular Elantra.
And there are a couple of N-specific details if you want to go into the N page, but that's the kind of stuff that if you don't want to mess with it, you don't have to mess with it. Sweetie, I don't know if you care about throttle position or what the turbo's doing, but if you did, it's there.
Hooray!
One question, what is the car seat situation?
There are 3 top tethers, lower anchors in the outboard position. I'm 5'2", behind a workable front seat position for myself. There is room for a rear-facing car seat.
As for safety, all the stuff that applies to the standard Elantra would also apply here. So that means a 5-star overall rating for crash from the NHTSA. It's a top safety pick from the IIHS. We have 6 airbags and a full suite of active driver assist technology standard.
One additional note about the car seat situation, the lower anchors are a little bit tricky to access. I thought I had it snapped in, but I was wrong. So give it a yank.
Yeah, okay, do that. All of that sounds pretty good, but let's flip it around. What hinders family friendliness in the Elantra N?
I do not like these seats. They are too sporty. It feels like a friend who's giving you an aggressive hug and they won't let go.
Come on, boundaries, Elantra N. I'm feeling that same constriction too, especially in the shoulder region here, and that is functional constriction. It's not about making you less comfortable, it's about making you more secure, which coincidentally may make you less comfortable.
Also, I sit so close to the steering wheel that getting out of the driver's seat when I'm in my forward position is a little tricky.
Even though this is the most expensive Elantra you can buy, there are no power seats in here. It's all manual, and that means if you're going back and forth between 2 people of different sizes, you're going to be doing a lot of manual adjustment. But they are heated as standard. Oh, I also wish they had a ventilation function, because in a track environment, ventilated seats are so sweet. Another hindrance to family friendliness is price. If you compare this to the trim we recommend in the standard Elantra, this is about $11,000 pricier. I think a more fair comparison is the Elantra N versus the Elantra N line, which is kind of like the sporty-ish one. Compared to the N line, the N is like $5,400 or $5,300 more expensive, and it's like, for 75 extra horsepower, that electronic limited slip differential, the electronic suspension, and all the aesthetic stuff, I'm like, $5,300 for all that? That's like pretty good, actually. Nonetheless, more is more.
More is more? I thought more was less.
In this case, more definitely is more, kiddo. And if you're price conscious, then the Elantra N may be a challenge. Another challenge, as you may have noticed looking at the cargo area, is we've got this cool red X-brace, which stiffens the chassis, improves all the responsiveness, but it's not moving. So if you want to make a run to IKEA, that's going to really limit the stuff you can bring home.
And in the standard Elantra, you get a 60-40 split. This is one solid piece.
So if you want to put the seat down, you better get rid of whoever's in the back there. Also, we don't have rear cup holders because there's no center flip-down armrest. That's what that is. The last ding on the Elantra N's family friendliness relates to fuel. If you compare this to the basic Elantra, it's a lot more thirsty, and certainly way thirstier than the Elantra Hybrid. And also, the Elantra N is the only of the Elantras cow grade that requires premium fuel. So the Elantra N is pricier to buy, pricier to run, bless you, pricier to insure, and slightly worse at hauling gear. We come to the ultimate test. Would Evie drive it? Evie's on the wheel. First question.
Oh no, it's a manual.
Oh gosh, no. Go ahead and put it in gear and see if we can pull away without stalling the thing.
Ooh.
Pro.
Yay.
So smooth. That seemed pretty easy. Was that easy?
That was easy.
Any visibility challenges?
Over my right shoulder, it is a big pillar there. I wish we had the blind view monitor.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't have that like flame tachometer. Isn't that cooler than seeing what's in your blind spot?
I guess.
How do you like steering this thing?
Ooh, I like steering this one much better than the standard Elantra. It's really responsive. My voice went up like 10 octaves. That's how responsive it is.
But is it fun?
I think I would have a lot more fun driving the non-manual version because I love the way this one looks, but I'm just super out of practice with this.
You know what would get you more practice? If we own an Elantra N. And what about power? Is there enough for you?
Plenty powerful, no trouble getting ahead of traffic.
Why don't you like floor it? Oh no, wait, not right now.
Shoo!
After the corner. And now.
Whee!
Fun?
Fun!
And then we're like going off a cliff.
If we were in the market for a high-performance compact sedan, would you be willing to drive an Elantra N?
I would, but I'd be even more willing with the non-manual transmission.
Okay, well, I'm getting back in the driver's seat. With Sweetie's opinion lodged, question family, should we engage in the ceremonial act of launch control?
Yes.
I guess.
All right. To activate launch control, we go into the N mode menu, swipe over one to the right, and hit activate for launch control. So it's a little bit simpler because we have the manual here instead of the dual clutch. It'll hold revs at 3,000 RPM, and then it just dump the clutch. 3,000 RPM, launch control ready.
I like how the little thing flashes.
It lets you know, oh, hey, it's really time to shift. Yeah, that was good launch controlling. It was quick, it was fun, sounded good doing it.
And Mommy didn't scream.
Okay, family, let's answer this video's question. Is the Elantra N workable for a family?
Assuming price isn't an issue, yes, it is workable for a family with minor accommodations.
I'll quickly add that if you're looking for something in this category, but not specifically this, you could also consider the Subaru WRX, the Volkswagen GTI, which has been updated for 2025, or perhaps the Toyota GR Corolla. Family, I think we've done a good job answering one question about the Elantra N. May I have a 5?
This was all for one question?
And a 5. And you could get your high five. Blammo!